Hello guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Ima Uchendo and you can call me the bookkeeping expert. Welcome to my channel. I've been running my bookkeeping business for the past 5 years and everything I teach and share on this channel are things that I have learned practically serving over 300 small businesses, offering them bookkeeping services, QuickBooks accounting deployment services, Sage accounting services, and a whole lot of other services. So the things I teach in these channels are not just things that I read in a book or heard from someone. They are things that I have learned through trial and errors, through offering my services to businesses. And in today's video, I want to share with you how I launched or started my profitable bookkeeping business leveraging Facebook in the year 2020. Okay, but before I dive right into the actions that I took, the things that I did, the strategies that I implemented, I want to first of all tell you where I was before 2020, where I was before I launched Stock Accounting Services, which is actually my bookkeeping business that I've been running for the past 5 years. Okay, so before 2020, before I ever thought of launching my bookkeeping business, I was an accountant. All right, I have seen a lot of people who want to start bookkeeping business, but they are bothered whether they should know bookkeeping, whether they should be an accountant, whether they should be chartered, or whether they should have all the skills and experiences needed before they start their own bookkeeping business. So before I started, I was an accountant, but today you can launch your own profitable bookkeeping business without being an accountant. So that is actually a good news. So I was an accountant. I was working for a pharmaceutical firm back then in 2019, 2020. So as an accountant in that pharmaceutical firm, my salary was just a mere 30,000 naira per month. So each month I was paid 30,000 naira. But one thing stood out in working for that organization. I was hired as an accountant, but before I knew what was happening, I was performing different roles, doing different other tasks that were not part of my job description for this organization. So before 2020, when I launched my bookkeeping business, I wasn't okay with that. Okay, so at a point I had to approach the owner of these organizations to let them know about my dissatisfaction with the pay I was making. So it was kind of, I was making 1,000 naira per day. Okay, so when you do 1,000 by 30 days, that is 30,000 naira. So I was just earning 1,000 naira per day. And that is not the kind of money I wanted to make. And I believe that's not the kind of money you want to make also. So I was dissatisfied with that. So I had to approach the management and ask them for an increase in my salary. Okay, so this was who I was before I launched my profitable bookkeeping business. I'm trying to give you a kind of a background history of who I was before, everything about storage and everything I have built so far. So when I approached the organization, they told me they were going to look into the matter and find a way around it. But at the end of the day, they told me there was practically nothing they can do, and any other decision they need to take about my complaint or the issue I have raised is going to be after 6 months. And that did not sit well with me because I did not see myself working in that organization for the next 6 months, earning 30,000 naira as a salary. So I had to leave that organization. So leaving that organization happened in 2020, okay, around January, February of 2020. And by the time I left the organization, COVID-19 struck. So I started my own profitable bookkeeping business during COVID-19, okay, in the middle of COVID-19, when businesses were shutting down, companies were sacking their staff, downsizing, people were being sent home. Okay, so that was the time when I started my own profitable bookkeeping business. So when I left my job in this pharmaceutical organization, I became jobless. So the idea was not really to build a bookkeeping business, okay, even though I have been nursing that idea. But I actually wanted to first of all get a job where I'll be working while I keep on developing my idea on how to start my own bookkeeping business. But I found myself that when I left the organization, COVID-19 struck, I couldn't really get a job. So it was at this moment where everybody was sitting at home, lockdown, people were not moving, that I began to think, what is it that I can do now that I cannot find a job? What is it that I can do? What skill do I have? So if you're someone who wants to also launch your own profitable bookkeeping business, I think one of the things I did right then was to think about the skills that I have, what I could do, and how I could monetize it, how I could offer it as a service to businesses or business owners who can actually pay for it. So if you're thinking of launching your own bookkeeping business, I think you should take a pen, take a paper, outline the skills you have, outline the people who need those skills, and apply the routes you can leverage to deliver it as a solution or a service or even a product to these business owners. So for me, during that COVID-19 was when I started thinking about the whole thing, and I realized that even though businesses were shutting down, even though organizations were laying off their staff, there are businesses that were not laying off their staff. There are businesses that were thriving. There are businesses that were booming. And those businesses were called essential care services kind of businesses. That is, businesses that provides essential care services. So talk about the hospitals, talk about the pharmaceuticals, talk about businesses in the medical line, okay? And one of them were the kind of business or the kind of company that I left. So I realized that these businesses were thriving, they were booming, unlike other businesses that were shutting down. Essential caregivers, essential businesses that provide essential services were not shutting down. I mean, it was a pandemic and this was their own time to thrive and boom. So I started thinking what I could do for such businesses. And I realized that the organization that I left, which was a pharmaceutical firm, we are stocking up more products by the time I left. And inventory was one of the things I helped them manage when I was working for them. And I realized that there were many other companies, many other organizations like them that were stocking up products, okay, and needed help, needed assistance with maintaining, tracking the inventory and doing a whole lot of other tasks around their inventory. And was when it struck me that I was sitting on a gold mine. So I had to package my stock taking skill, my inventory management skill as a service, and I started approaching business owners to pitch that skill as a service to them. Okay, so I didn't actually started my bookkeeping business with bookkeeping as a service. I started by offering stock taking as a service. That was my low entry or no barrier to entry service. Okay, that was my low hanging fruit. It was the easiest thing that came to me, and it was the easiest thing I felt that I could monetize. So if you're listening to me, you're watching this video and you have stock taking skill, I just want to tell you that you're sitting on a gold mine. Okay, you can package it as a solution, you can package it as a service, and you can offer it to product-based business owners around you, and they will gladly pay you whatever your worth is for you to offer or provide that solution to them. So the first thing I did was to now identify that I had the skill of stock taking, and I planned on how to convert it as a service for product-based business owner. So the next thing I did was to pitch this solution to business owners. So for me personally, I leveraged word of mouth marketing and Facebook as my tool to get the word out. So I started approaching businesses within my neighborhood who were running who were selling physical products and who also need assistance towards the area of their inventory, stock taking, and inventory management. So I went to them, I pitched my services to them, and I tried to sell that service to them. Okay, now that was one thing I did, and it is still one thing that still works till today. Okay, so if you're looking at launching your own profitable bookkeeping business, I think one thing you should leverage is your connection. Who do you know? What businesses are around you? How do you get to meet the owners of this business? Pitching your services to them. These are the actions or the practical steps you should take to launch your own bookkeeping business. Yes, I understand the areas of branding, choosing the name for your company, getting a logo, and other fanciful things that you might want to do. But for me personally, I started by selling my service or pitching my service to these business owners, getting them to pay me money for it before I started thinking about, okay, what name should I give to my business now? What should be my color? What should be my logo? What should be my motto, and the rest of it. So I started by really selling the service, and that is one way you will validate your idea. That is one way you are going to know if your skills and services are things that are actually needed by people out there. So the entire idea about running a profitable bookkeeping business is actually getting people to pay you for what you can do or for what service you are providing to them, not about your logos and your fanciful office and the rest of it. Word of mouth marketing was one strategy that I used. Now, the next strategy that I used was Facebook. I became active on Facebook. I started using Facebook as another method or another medium to reach out to people. I started putting out words on Facebook. I started letting people know that look at what I can do. I started letting people know that I offer stock taking as a services. I started letting them know that I can count their products, I could tag their products, I could code their products, and I can help them solve problems around stock taking and inventory management. So before you knew it, because it was COVID-19, what started flying out. Okay, people started seeing what I was doing. They started knowing me as somebody who offers stock taking as a service, and from there I was able to get people to share my post. I was able to get people to comment. I was able to get people to refer me to their relatives, to their colleagues, to other business owners that they knew that needs my service. So Facebook is one powerful tool till today which you can use to launch your profitable bookkeeping business. Do not underrate it. You have to put yourself out there. You have to put your face out there. You have to let people know the skills you have and what you can do. And this is one easiest way, cost-free way that you can use to launch your own profitable bookkeeping business. And talking about profitability, my bookkeeping business did not just become profitable in the first year. Yeah, I saw my first million in the first year, but I wouldn't say it was profitable in the first year, okay? Because it's a different thing to generate, let's say, 1 million revenue in a year, but being profitable is a different thing. So we did not just become profitable as Touch Accounting Services overnight. We did not just become profitable in our first year, okay? So, but we were able to make up to ₦1 million offering these services to business owners and getting them to pay us real time for it. Okay, so this was how I was able to build my own profitable bookkeeping business known as Touch Accounting Services using Facebook and word of mouth marketing. And I bet you if you apply these two strategies, list out the things you can do, list out the skills you have, list out the people who need it, attach a price to it, start talking to people around your neighborhood, start talking to people in your contacts, in your WhatsApp, on your Instagram, in your Facebook, and also leverage Facebook to get the word out. Post on your profile, tell people what you do. If you're able to do this, I believe you are going to build your own profitable bookkeeping business in no distant time. But remember, the idea is not to build a profitable business first. The idea is to get the word out, get people to know what you can do, what you can offer them, and how much is going to cost them to get you to do it for them. Profitability is one thing that will come along the way as you keep on serving many more clients, as you keep on getting many more clients to patronize your business. Okay, so in my next video, I'm going to talk about things like how I came up with my bookkeeping business name, how I came up with the logo, how I got my first client, and the practical steps that I took to get them to pay me my first 40K. So watch out for that video. Ensure you subscribe to this channel. Ensure that you turn on your notification bell, and ensure that you share this channel with your friends who needs to learn how to start everything about running a profitable business, how to start it, how to launch it, how to brand it, how to get their clients, how to use QuickBooks, how to use Sage, what software to use, and a whole lot of other things that has to do with accounting, finance, bookkeeping, stock taking, business automation, and a lot of other things. Okay, so stick to this channel as I drop many more videos to teach you how I grew my own profitable bookkeeping business in the past 5 years. And if you check the description of this video, I have provided a whole lot of resources which you can also consume for free. And we have a community of over 2.4 members which you can join. You can see the link in the description below, and you can also get some of my free resources which you can consume. And if you feel like you want to go straight forward, you want to learn how I did everything, I can't wait to welcome you to my academy known as Inventory Academy, where I teach everything about how I launched my profitable bookkeeping business and a whole lot of other skills which you need along the road. You don't have to figure everything out by yourself. You can come and get my expert guidance. Thank you for watching. I hope this video was insightful for you. I'll see you next week when I drop another video on this channel. Cheers!